Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to episode number 3 of The Adventure Continues, a Star Trek discussion where we take a specific episode of the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, or Enterprise, and we discuss it, or in the future, we'll be talking about a specific movie that either myself or a guest has chosen, and we watch it, we discuss it as we're watching it, and we give our thoughts on said episode or movie as it's going along. With me tonight is Anonymous. He's a good friend of the channel. The first time he actually came on the channel was during an open panel where we were talking about an article from Bounty into Comics about Deep Space Nine. And well, that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about a Deep Space Nine episode, a season 2 episode, number 15 to be exact, and it was called Paradise, where you have then Commander Cisco and Chief Miles Edward O'Brien aboard the Rio Grande, and they detect a colony of humans. And it's in a sector where they weren't expecting to even find this colony. And lo and behold, they beam down to this colony and they find out that their tricorders aren't working and their phasers aren't working. And it's all because of this woman named Alexis who has activated the dampening field, and technology is useless. But we'll get more into this episode. Right now, I would like to welcome in our guest for this evening. As soon as I get his transporter coordinates, I will beam him aboard. And I have those transporter coordinates acquired, so here he comes. Welcome aboard.
Greetings, Mike.
How are you doing tonight, Anonymous?
I am awesome. I am awesome. I am awesome. And apparently, this comes full circle. If I started the show with a Deep Space Nine episode, and now I'm going to end it with a deep. No, I'm just we're just at Deep Space Nine once again, and I will not end my time here with this. Okay, just don't worry. It's okay.
No, because I do have a question to ask you after the show.
Sure thing.
But we'll get to that when we get to that. But Anonymous, when it comes to tonight's particular episode, Paradise, what were your first thoughts on the episode when you first watched it?
I just thought it was a filler episode. Well, technically, it probably is just a filler episode, but it just when I first watched it, it was boring. It was, I didn't think it was a high or top shelf of storytelling. I guess I
Mhm.
didn't pay that much of attention to it because it was all bottled up on a planet with no technology, and just it was. And it ticked me off because it's one of those things where the woman is a authority, and she was exerting her authority over uh, Benjamin and Miles, and she had no right to, I guess,
Mhm.
and she was exacting her will on them, and against their will. They played along a little bit, but then it turned out very authoritarian, and it I hate that. I hate tyranny, authoritarianism. I just, especially when somebody tries to do that kind of crap to me, I resist it. Like it just eats me up inside. So the show ticked me off at the time, and I don't think I watched it again for years. I
And,
mean,
and, and let me ask you, this is a serious question because you and I are around the same age. How old were you when you saw this episode?
oh, um, dude, I couldn't even tell you. I didn't get to watch Deep Space Nine when it first aired.
Mhm.
Because of I think it was on was it on UPN?
It might have been on one of the UPN stations because I know some of the UPN stations actually aired Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't think I saw this live. I had to watch it later on, and I can't remember. It was in syndication, maybe on some other channel, and that's when I watched it. But I don't remember how old I was. I don't. I don't. I have a very terrible sense of time in the timing of my life. So I could tell you about events that happened and things I've done, but I couldn't tell you what year it started, what month. No, just not gonna happen.
Well, just to give everybody a frame of reference, I was about 14, 15 years old when this episode aired, so I was in junior high getting ready to go into high school. And when I saw this episode, I did not like the fact that Alexis put Cisco in the sweatbox. I did
Yeah,
not like that at all. I'm thinking, why does he have to listen to her? And why are they asking? And you'll all see this when you watch the episode. Why is she asking Miles and Cisco to conform to their way of life when they have a life back on Deep Space Nine? Miles has a family that he's responsible for, and they also have their Starfleet careers. But no, Alexis wants them to just forget all about that and basically assimilate themselves into this colony.
that's a good word to use, Mike. Assimilate, and that'll go along with my thoughts on the whole situation.
Mhm. So, everybody, if you would like to watch along with us, the Cosme link is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube and Rumble. Unfortunately, X is giving me a hard time, so I am still trying to get the Cosme link into X. So, give me a second, and I'll get it in there. Then we'll start the episode. But do you have any other thoughts on this episode, Anonymous?
Well, we'll let that play out. I think over the next hour or so.
Okay, so just hold tight, everybody, over on X, and I will get you the link.
Hold tight, hold tight.
Because everybody should be included. I don't know why X is having its issues, but it is. And there's nothing I can do about it.
You can. It's not letting
Uh,
you paste it, is it?
no.
There we go. I did
Well,
it
okay, thanks.
in
Appreciate
the
it.
Friends of Pacific War 14. I don't know.
Thank you. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I appreciate you
All right.
doing that, brother. So if everybody is ready, again, the Cosme link is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube and Rumble. Anonymous just posted it in the Pacific Forum 4 group on X. So if you're in Cosme, which I know you are, we are going to go ahead and get this started, my friend. And
I am
yes,
there.
I do have the captions enabled. And just to catch everybody up, to get you up to speed as to this conversation, at this point in the series, Ben was trying to influence Jake, his son, to join Starfleet.
This is just any father trying to get the son to have a good work ethic, get him
Hmm.
involved, and get his hands on, get him used to hard work, and get him ready for life. So yeah, this is
Hmm.
just right.
Yeah. And we get a little bit more history of Chief O'Brien. Some that we learned on Next Generation. We learn more here.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you, Anonymous, would you like to fly a runabout?
Yes, very much. Although I always wanted to be a fighter pilot when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
so I would prefer something a little bit more single seat. I think that would be even more thrilling than because that's just like being in a big ship and you don't really get to feel the ship itself and you get to you know drive it. I guess I don't know how to explain it, but just imagine yourself in an F-14
Mm-hmm.
and doing that in space. That would be one of the greatest thrill rides imaginable.
It would. It'd be Starfleet issue.
Yep.
How's the picture quality for you, Anonymous?
It's good. Don't it's not HD, but it works.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to convert it to HD.
That's fine.
Although that's something I would like for Deep Space Nine is an HD set since they already shot the series in widescreen.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that ticks me off that they haven't did the remaster.
A- And one of their explanations as to why is because the next generation sets didn't do that well.
It's just poor excuse.
Hmm.
You need to. It doesn't matter. You need to preserve this in the best quality you can.
Yeah.
Who cares if you have to spend a little bit of money? You'll make it up in the long run. I'm sure people
Hmm.
still buy the next generation sets. I own that?
Especially now since they're cheaper than they were when they were first released.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the What We Left Behind documentary, you saw the scenes not only in their original widescreen format, but they also upgraded the VFX for the later seasons when they were
Yeah.
using, CGI.
Yep. And I like um the upgraded next generation. The
Me too.
planets look better. A lot of the special effects look a lot better. It's just, uh, everyone's like, "Oh, we didn't have to do the digital enhancing of Star Wars," and there's a good argument there because it put in a lot of stuff that wasn't there, and um,
I don't know
it
why.
made it kind of different. But there's some stuff that needed to be fixed that I do agree with. But so I think that it if it's done right, it helps. It's good.
Did it skip for you? Because it skipped for me.
Yeah, it just went backwards and it's skipping.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry.
All right,
And hello, Lady Mist. How are you doing tonight? Happy Memorial Day weekend.
hello, Lady Mist. Hello.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike and the machines. They don't get along.
No, we don't. Of course, Gail Strickland is the one that plays Alexis.
Yep.
And it's good to see you, Low Spec. Good to see you, brother. How you doing this weekend?
Hello, Luzbek.
I was glad to be able to catch your Rise of the Tomb Raider stream yesterday.
Wow. Oh my gosh, everybody's so happy and
Happy to get
excited.
visitors and yeah, O'Brien says that the runabouts are short range, but we've seen them go long range.
Well, what's their version of short range?
True. And it's good to see DJ Ronnie G. DJ Ronnie G joined me for episode 2 of The Adventure Continues, a Star Trek discussion, as we watched and discussed Tomorrow's Yesterday.
Turtle. Hey DJ, how you doing?
And DJ, if you'd like to watch the episode, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. See, watching her mannerisms and listening to her speak, that should have been our first giveaway. That something's not right.
Oh yeah, she's already started. This is
Mm-hmm.
how she is a master manipulator. She convinces you that everything's for the good, her good. But
Mm-hmm.
it's everybody's good, but it's all her good, and it's all we and us.
She doesn't like the idea that Miles and Ben might possibly find a way to leave. And see, maybe it's because I'm older, but just the way she's acting, I would go to Red Alert.
Oh, my spidey senses would be tingling like crazy. It's like, oh, just contribute to our community.
But this is also one of the episodes that has a B story that doesn't take away from the A story
No,
because of how well they tie together.
well, the B story is I mean directly tied to the A story. See, so it's just they needed somebody to save them because, and this is the B story just runs parallel to get meet the end of the resolution to the story.
Mhm.
Because if they weren't doing their job, even though they got their even though they did stuff, in case you haven't seen this, but I ain't gonna try to spoil too much. But they still couldn't get off the planet.
Nope.
My wife tells me that all the time.
I think we all hear it.
Yeah. It's funny. She leaves these books laying around so they could read them just to
Hmm.
try to indoctrinate them into her way
Yep.
of thinking. But
Into her cult.
yeah, but it for a thinking man like Benjamin, it just puts up more red flags.
Hmm. And I think this is a good example, especially for season two, where they figure out what they're going to do with Commander Cisco, what kind of character he's going to be.
Yeah.
You could also say that Alexis brainwashed the survivors.
Well, when you use the word convert
Hmm.
to describe what happened, community.
Yet it makes you wonder. She's saying that it's an insect that's already taken three people's lives. Is Alexis doing this on purpose?
No,
You
I
know,
never get
when
that.
let me further continue by saying it's morale getting low, where people are doubting
Hmm.
staying there. So she's trying to boost morale, or you know, push forward her ideal way of living even further. I don't know. I could explain it better, but
Well, I understand. It's just, she needs a catalyst to get them to do what she wants. So you need to be searching for roots and herbs and medicines to create. So we need to spend our time doing that instead of worrying about other things that are meaningless in this community. So if I made somebody sick on per accidentally on purpose, I can get them to do my bidding because it sounds legit. Sounds like common sense. Oh, we need to be trying to save Meg.
mhm. See, and you're already noticing that Cisco's starting to see right through her.
Yeah, and she's already uh, trying to get him to see manipulating. Do
Hmm.
things our way. Don't bring this up. Get rid of your uniform.
Well, it may get hot in the fields, but as Worf says, Starfleet uniforms are designed to be comfortable in any weather condition.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's not about comfort, though. That's the problem.
No.
It's about reminders. It's about
Hmm.
um, taking away your old life and assimilating into the new one.
Hmm. And this is one of the few times you actually get the Rio Grande's registry number.
Mm,
And to me, it was always great to see Nana Visitor and Terry Farrell have scenes together because of how well they played off one another.
yep. More clues.
Mm-hmm. And that's smart writing.
Mm-hmm. You notice the secondary interactions with these guys. They're trying to get them to befriend each other because they have commonalities
Mm-hmm. Being
and
engineers.
for the plot.
Mm-hmm. Can you name a show nowadays that still does that?
None, probably. There's a giant
Yeah,
red flag.
it is sketchy, DJ.
A candle. Did he have a choice to not approve of it? What would happen if he didn't approve of it? Did he
I
get
don't think she
manipulated?
gave anybody a choice because, again, as we've already seen, she's a manipulator, a master manipulator.
Uh-huh.
And see, she's struck fear into the colonists. None of them want to speak out against her.
Nope. In time. See how she
Mm-hmm.
talks. She's already written them into the community. You're not leaving anywhere. You're not going.
Yep.
Oh yeah, she does.
It's all in the dialogue. And I'm sorry, nothing against Michael Pillar or Rick Berman, but I think they should have let Avery Brooks come in bald with his goatee.
Yep, I think so too. I wouldn't have cared. I thought he looked weird with the hair anyway. I mean, I got used to it after a while, but when I first saw him, I was like, "Ooh, that ain't right." She red alert.
Mm-hmm. Ray shields, ready phasers, standby photon torpedoes.
Hold up there, lady.
But see, another thing I like about this episode is how alert Cisco is, alert of
Yep.
his surroundings.
Yep, and the manipulation. He's
Hmm.
very acute, tuned to what she's doing.
Tim, welcome aboard.
You know what I mean?
Hmm. She's basically telling Cisco, "You conform to our ways, or else."
Yeah. Well, now she's trying to give him the carrot until he won't take it, and then she's going to give him the stick.
Very funny, but Anonymous and I were just talking about how the producers should have just let Avery Brooks come in with his goatee and bald head.
Yep. See, still in her uniform. She keeps bringing that up because she
Hmm.
knows she has to. That's how she breaks him. She can get him out of that uniform. I broke you.
But let me ask you a question. Let me ask the audience a question. If you're a Starfleet officer and you're in this situation, do you take off the uniform, or is your first responsibility to that uniform?
No, you leave it on because it's it's not just your duty, I guess, that you're adhering to. It's once you take that off, you have written off your old life, and he knows that. And
Hmm.
you've given in, you've bent the knee, and he can't do that. You can't just give up that quickly, that easily, and not even just as a Starfleet officer, but as a free thinking man
Hmm. I'm.
or
I don't
woman.
know about you, but I'm keeping that uniform on, and I'm going to keep asking questions.
Yep.
Duty, not duty, Tim.
Toilet humor. Cash would be so disappointed. She's trying to break him. Just ask, man. Just
But Cisco knows what she's trying to do to him.
yep. He won't give in.
That's strange. All of a sudden, there's a new combination of herbs that seem to be working.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
That
you find that
they
a little odd?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what she's getting her point at. It's like, they went out and found some new herbs that are seem like they're working because they didn't waste time trying to get your devices working. They went out and looked for new stuff.
I always like that line. I'm the science officer. It's my job to have a better idea.
Yeah, security lady.
Well, everybody needs a position, DJ. Even on a starship. Someone needs to work waste extraction. Rom did it on DS9.
They probably just vaporize it, Tim. It's got a little phaser right underneath your butt as it comes out. Just shoots it and on level 7.
Just make sure your butt's not on the toilet seat, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a bidet, but it's a phaser.
I always like this exterior effect too.
The which one?
The exterior effect of the two runabouts, and you see the runabout that Kira and Dax are in,
Yeah.
trying to lock on to the Rio Grande.
Oh no!
What did you do, Alexis?
What didn't you do?
It makes you wonder too. Was Meg one of the people that was still speaking out?
Maybe.
And what did you say? This is one of the episodes where you start learning you don't mess with Cisco.
Yeah. The man has balls of steel. See what she says. It's all with a smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just watch her manipulate this whole situation.
Mm-hmm. Turn it against Miles
Yeah.
and Cisco, and
They represent danger. She gives them zero leeway. They just see that's the thing. They just offered to help out while they were there until they could
mm-hmm.
figure out how to get out of there. And so yeah, we'll pull our weight, but they never not said, "Well, yeah, we won't. We'll do whatever you say, and we'll just not
Well,
try to escape." And
we'll
that
not
wasn't
try
the
to
whole.
escape. We'll forget about our lives that we currently have, and say,
Yeah,
you know what? Hey, Keiko, Molly, you're on your own.
yeah. It's
Jacob,
like
you're on your own.
she completely turned this around to say, "Oh, you have to do everything I say, and you can't do anything to try to get back to where you came from." So now you're just wasting our time. You're screwing us over. So now you have to be punished because you're doing the thing you want to do and not the thing that I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the smile. Look at her, smug.
Yeah,
Just, I got you. I'm going to break you, Cisco. This is a battle of wills at this point.
yeah. And that's what I understand about this episode now, as opposed to when I saw it when I was a teenager.
See, there's a lot. Like I say, there's a lot of layers to this, and there's this fascinating layer that I'll bring up here in a little bit. But and I'm sure you've already seen it too, obviously. But it's just I didn't get it till like towards the end, or even after it was over. I just kept thinking about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is there's something about this episode that just probably didn't. A lot of people probably didn't see.
Mm-hmm. I see it now, but I didn't see it when I initially watched it.
No, I
And,
surely did.
And honestly, DJ, I think she would it let them form their own colony. She would kill them off. She would find a way.
Yeah, they wouldn't let her. You notice that the only person there that has a weapon is her son.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why that is.
Control. Absolute
Yep.
control. Now she's trying to be empathetic to him.
Oh yeah, that's man. It's brilliant manipulation. See, I'm the victim too.
Tempt him with the water.
Yep. Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm. She wants it as a snap of the finger. That's what
Yep.
she wants. She wants Miles to conform. She wants Ben to conform.
Get rid of the uniform. Just get rid of the uniform.
That's all you gotta do, Ben.
All I gotta do. Here's
Get
some
rid of the
clothes.
uniform.
Here's some clothes. You can have the water. Give him another carrot.
Mm-hmm. But you can already see the wheels turning in Cisco's head.
Oh yeah. Join us.
Join us, Anonymous.
Be one of us.
Or Miles being concerned for him, he's gonna want to help.
It's like, we haven't seen this before. What the crap? I was like, what is he doing? No,
No, Chief.
no.
He's gonna send a message.
Yep. She can't break him.
Mm-mm.
Once he breaks, Miles will break, and then it's
Then she
all
has
over.
him.
And she has him. And then he sent that message to Miles: "Don't give up.
Yep.
Keep going."
And this goes back to their previous conversation, Joseph and
Mm-hmm.
Miles.
Just look at the flowers.
Mm-hmm. I like what Miles said there. I can do this where it won't hurt at all.
Yep. Just assure him. It's like I got experience. It's okay, man. I'm not. It's nothing personal, but you got to help me. This is how he helps.
Hmm.
And
No, he's taking his compass with him. Yes, even in the 24th century, they still know how to make a compass.
us us
Survival.
guys with
It's survival.
ingenuity do basic survival.
And another thing I like, as the compass is spinning, you hear the humming.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where you find out Alexis doesn't like technology, but she has to use a piece of technology.
Hypocrite.
Hmm.
The ends justify the means. And it all just fell into place.
Hmm.
Uh oh. Comes the enforcer, ready to just
Yep.
kill you. You done found her secret. You gotta die now.
Yep. Her son's willing to do anything to keep the secret.
Help mommy.
But unlike the kid, Miles is experienced in combat.
Yep. Tarzan beats the Robin Hood.
The jig is up.
Yeah, back lady. She's about ready to tear her apart.
She, yeah. Well, think about it. You're one of those colonists, and you're finding out this information. What would be going through your head?
I'm getting the crap out of here. That's what's going through my head.
This whole time we've been here because of you
Yep.
and your desires. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. Slave labor?
You could say that. But you know, you look at it today too. We have become slaves to technology.
in a way, but I know work changes. Oh, she's the victim here.
Hmm.
I suffered.
And this answer is telling us to how far she's willing for her cause to go.
Uh huh. And how she taught her kid, yeah, sure, son, I'll have to let you die for my ideas, my ideals.
Mm-hmm.
And look at them, just all right, sure, okay. I mean, this is what you. Uh, they're not free thinkers. They're not.
No,
They're easily manipulated, and I mean, they're match made in
it,
heaven,
it's
or
high.
hell, I guess.
It's hive mind thinking.
Yes, stranding you there. See,
I
I thought it'd be freaking hilarious if somebody goes, "Screw you, dude! I'm out of here." Somebody just
yeah,
walks out of
yeah.
the crowd.
I was just gonna say that he Joseph may say that they have a home there now, but there's got to be somebody there that would say, Hold on, Commander, I'm going with you."
Yeah, am I going to be the next one that gets bit by the bug and dies?
Hmm.
Excuse me, no. I like Civilization. I'm a fan of Civilization. Now, what do you think of this ending here?
I'll tell you what I think of this ending. It's leaving it up to the next generation to decide if they want to continue this way of life.
Staring at the device of torture
Hmm.
and mob justice.
Now, was there anything that you noticed in the episode that you hadn't noticed before? You know, whether it be items in the background, dialogue.
Oh man, there's so much dialogue that just it's it's hard to pin down. I mean, overall, it's well. I'm gonna give you what the underarching theme of the show is. It's not this that she's a mad scientist who did an experiment with other people's lives and completely disrupted everything that they were about to fit her agenda and manipulated them into thinking it was a good thing and doing her will overall. But basically, this woman is a reverse Borg
A reverse war
queen.
queen.
Yeah, she's a reverse a um you know I don't know how to put it, like a prehistoric Borg queen. How about that?
Mhm.
Something like, no technology, work with your hands, but you have to assimilate. You have your resistance is futile. And the whole episode is about trying to break your resistance. and assimilate them into the collective, the community.
And think about what would happen, because this particular episode aired during the 92-93 season, and then of course you have season 3 and 93-94. But a few years later, think about Waco
Yeah.
and the manipulation that went on there
Yep.
in that event.
And this was her religion,
Mm-hmm.
to an extent. She believed in minimalism, uh, just rugged individual. I mean, I'm all for rugged individualism, but this wasn't really what it was all about. It was about moving away from the technology that makes your life comfortable, and there's aspects of what she believes is fine. Like, I'm a big fan of uh, being out in the woods and uh, you know living minimalistic to a point. And I
Mm-hmm.
would, it's, you have those old memes like, hey, if you got paid $1 million, would you live in this cabin by the lake for the rest of your life or whatever? I'd be like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I can live there and I can be happy out in the wild, and next to a lake with a fishing pole, and and I'm no stranger to hard work either. So I got to do things I got to do. I bought a nice little chunk of land here that I have to work on a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing to me, but um, so that part is fine. But she was this was forced on people who didn't want it, who didn't think her way. She imposed her will and
Mm-hmm.
her ideology on other people, and then manipulated them into thinking that it was a good thing. And they're still brainwashed into it, so that they won't leave. They won't, even if they have a hint, an inkling, but beneath the surface, to want to go back to their old life. They won't say, because they're probably still afraid they're going to be in that box. Who else is going to be there to put them in that box?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're also not crapping on Alexis because the character's a woman. We'd be doing the same thing if the character was a man.
Yes, it has nothing to do with gender,
No,
obviously, but it's all about personality and character.
how they speak, how they say certain words to really, you know, drive you to the point where you say, "Okay, I'll give up my uniform."
Yeah, she tried to make it sound um, relaxing to do it. Just give in. It'll be fine. Here's it'll be better for you out in the field if you're not wearing your uniform. It's good for you. It just gets hot out there. Your uniform's going to be uncomfortable. Hey, just take off the uniform. It's fine. It'll help you relax here. It'll help you assimilate. Take off your uniform, Benjamin. You can have the water if you take off your uniform. It's trying to do a reward system for behaviors that are unbecoming of an officer, unbecoming of a free thinking person. It's trying to, you conform to my will, and you will get a reward for it.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? DJ brings up a good point. Every one of those colonists in this episode, they're a victim of Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, that's true. Their captor, they are sympathetic to her will and her way of thinking now, because she made them that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fascinating episode, like I said, when I first watched this, it was just I hate that woman. I hate this whole situation. I just want to recoil from it, and I want to get away. I don't want to watch this again. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I hated the episode,
Yeah.
but like I said in the beginning, now that I've gotten older and I've watched it a few more times, I see it from a different point of view.
Yep. and it always stuck with me too. Even when
Hmm.
I was going through and rewatching, I've rewatched DS9 several times, and every time this episode come up, I always knew what it was about, and I always knew, how it made me feel when I watched it, and I watched it every time, and after you don't watch it for a while, you kind of forget some stuff, but you always have that. I know that episode, and I know what it made me feel
Hmm.
like whenever I watch it. So when you were looking, when I was looking for an episode to review with you. I was running along the seasons and looking at the synopsis and all that, and I was like, "Oh, let me watch this again," because I'd watched every episode I was thinking about
Yeah.
choosing, and I watched this one again, and I was like, I'm trying to go in it with my analytical mind now instead of just turn my brain off and enjoy the show. And I was like, holy crap. It's like,
But
oh,
but see, that's the thing, Anonymous, with a show like Star Trek and even DS9 as one of its spin-offs. You don't turn off your brain. You keep your brain on, and the show has you decide for yourself. Was Alexis right for doing what she did? Was she wrong for doing what she did? Should Cisco and Miles have just said, screw it. Okay, you got two more people to help you, you know, in your fields and do whatever.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's clearly wrongdoing. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't deny that, but it's the aftermath of it. She clearly did things wrong. She let people die. She could have got the medical kit out of the runabout before they sent it off and saved Meg, but she did not do
Hmm.
it. She let her die, and he used her to manipulate the situation. So clearly she did things wrong, but it's the aftermath of what she had done that is ambiguous and has some ambiguity to it. Um, do you try to convince these people to get off the planet, or try to deprogram them in some way, or uh, are they right to stay? Who are we to decide for them now?
Exactly. It, it's one of those things where you have to think: is it our place to tell them, no, you're leaving this colony, you were brought here against your own will, and we need to take you back to your former lives when they have started new lives, not by their own choice, mind you.
Yeah, but
They
they've
have
been doing
their
it for
new
10
lives.
years.
Yeah, yeah.
They're settled in.
Mhm.
They found their flow of living there, and they know what to do to live, they know what to do to survive, even if they are limited on their medical or medicines and medical prowess. They're just living off the land, and they figured it out. They're basically living on Gilligan's Island,
Mhm.
but they've done it for so long that they're used to it. They're not that to say they like it, they're
It's
used to it.
second nature to them.
Second nature now. You do something for long enough, and it becomes habit, and just becomes second nature after a while. So yeah, so it's hard, and it would be so hard to get them to leave the life they've known for 10 years.
Mhm. And again, they know how to do tasks that other people would rely on the technology of the 24th century to take care of.
Yeah, and I don't, like I said, I don't fault them, I guess, for it. Like, because I like the idea of living. I mean, I'll only go so far as living off the land, but and getting away from all of technology and civilization. But if I had, even after 10 years, there's things I would absolutely miss, especially if you had family
Mhm.
that didn't come with you and you wanted to communicate with them, you wanted to see them, you know you've been cut off from all of that.
Yeah, you want to get in contact with them to let them know that you're alive.
Yeah. So they even at the end they were thinking, oh, should we turn it back on or should we leave it off? We'll have to decide as a community. And that's her language. That's her talk. That's her talking through them.
Hmm.
This was
Because she's ingrained it into their mind.
yep,
She's embedded it into their mind, where that's all they know now.
yep. Because she's over 10 years of her sitting there speaking the language that she created to get them to change their thinking habits, their patterns, to bring them into her. She's the hive mind, like you said.
Hmm.
And she created that hive mind. She created the hive, the Borg hive, for her, and she's their queen. It's very insidious. I love that about this episode, and I'm surprised I never saw that before. But man, my gosh, whoever wrote this one, I can't remember who wrote it, but did a fantastic job.
Here, I'll read it back to those credits and let's see. Try to get it where it actually shows up. Let me go back a little bit. Let's just go through this part.
I don't think they'd say who wrote it until the end.
Yeah, that's why I'm just letting it play because I don't want to skip it. And all right, teleplay was by Jeff Kane and Richard Manning and Hans Beamler. Story by John Trombetta and
Hmm.
James Crocker.
I don't know the difference. I figure story is probably the rough outline, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, darn
Oh, hot
it.
mic,
Hot amp.
hot amp.
Pulling the plug out of my out of my guitar. But yeah, man, excellent freaking job on this episode. Very well thought out and written.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kudos to the boys there.
Yeah, and yes, 5 people participated in putting this episode together. Where now you have more than 10 in a writer's room who can't even come up with a decent story for a series episode. But
Yeah, and not even that. He just like terrible dialogue and stories that go nowhere or just don't make any sense or just bad comedy, just whatever kind of. I mean, just it's just so many. I mean, there's a long list, just a giant list of freaking writers in this room that just can't come up with anything good. I refuse to believe it. Just talentless hacks. Where are these guys at? Why can't they do some more?
I'd love to have people back from Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager days, Enterprise days, writing current Trek, but leave out the current politics.
Yep. It's funny. It's like listening to stories, even in the music industry. I was listening to an interview with Steve Lukather, the
Mhm.
guy. He's a studio musician, but he's also the founder of Toto. Super excellent guitar player, and done just tons of songs for like super famous songs. He's done a bunch of guitar stuff for them. He did the Michael Jackson "Beat It" song. That riff you hear in there, he created
Mhm.
that. Just all kinds of stuff. And I listened to an interview with him about how the music industry is, and you'll never get those days back the way they used to do it. Now it's all just corporate created slop that you don't hear any good guitar stuff in the record label music anymore. They don't do it the same way. They all write the music in house, so they don't have to pay music writers anymore, and they retain the rights to all of it. Blah blah blah, and they just pull out a song they have in their library and just give it to some pop star that can't sing half the time, and
That
they
needs to be
make it.
auto tuned, and
Yeah, and just more talentless crap out there, and like the talented people don't get signed anymore because they're writing their own songs, they're creating their own music, and they won't sign them hardly. And so they're out there in the dust doing their own thing, not getting any recognition, not getting any fame and like they used to. So it's basically probably the same thing. All these people are hired or all the good writers and producers and stuff aren't getting jobs anymore because they keep hiring talentless people to make corporate slop just to put on a streaming service.
mm-hmm. And honestly, Anonymous, that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to go back and not only discuss good Star Trek, but watch good Star Trek like we have so far with these first 3 episodes. Let everybody know what Star Trek is about, what it should be about, the
Yep.
kind of stories it has told and should continue to tell. I mean, I'll be honest, I would put this highly on my best episodes of Deep Space Nine list.
It's weird too because it shouldn't be, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we have some awesome freaking episodes. And when I was going through looking for episodes to talk about, a lot of my favorites came up. I was Duet, I love that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was, all the other even different series that I was looking through. Uh, but I didn't want something that was like in everybody's brain as the best. But I wanted something that was good. But I guarantee you, nobody ever thought about Paradise. And even when I
No,
said Paradise, they're like, "Oh, Paradise Lost, yeah, that was good."
yeah, that was the first thing that came to my mind when you said Paradise, and then you're like, "No, Mike, the
Oh my
episode Paradise."
god, slow down, Mike. Yeah, see, nobody would have thought of that,
No,
and it's such a underrated episode. Even on the IDMB, the rating on that is lower than most of the other episodes and stuff. And I was like, man, you know what? If people really thought about it, this is, I know it doesn't have a lot of phaser fights and not spaceships just flying around. There's not. It's only got four of the actors from the show. There's no bar scenes, no Odo. Just I know it's minimalist. Of the show itself is minimalist, but uh, it's it is very well written and thought out and very well done,
mm-hmm.
and it deserves more uh, recognition than what it gets.
It does. It deserves to be put up there on the pantheon of best Star Trek episodes when you put different episodes from all the series
Mm-hmm.
from 66 to 2005. It deserves to be on that list.
We're gonna give it the love tonight, boys. Nobody else
And,
will do it. We'll do it.
and you know what? When I saw this at 14, 15 years old back in 92, 93, I wouldn't have given it this much praise.
No,
But
like
again,
I
like
said,
I said, I've gotten older.
yep. A little more wiser, a little bit more discerning. It's ticked me off then. Now it just still ticks me off now, but it's in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way, you're like, oh, Alexis, ooh,
Yeah.
you don't know who you're messing with.
See, I think of myself in those situations, and if I was being manipulated like that and being forced to try to conform. See, I'm always been that guy who I don't like being part of groups. I don't like, going along to get along. I don't like, um, I'm very hesitant about joining clubs. I don't join clubs. I don't sign my name on memberships. I don't do that stuff because it's not me.
Yeah.
And this is all about being forced into a membership or a group or a club or and if the apocalypse happened and people started forming little communities and stuff, I probably wouldn't be a part of any of them unless it was people I really trusted. Because the moment somebody came along, some uh, alpha Chad came along, you're going to be following me or we'll kill you. That's the moment I pull out my gun and shoot him in the head and walk away because I'm not being part of this. No, you don't get to tell me what to do.
No. You want your independence. You want your freedom.
Forgive me, YouTube. I don't mean I'm going to do that. I'm just saying in this scenario. So don't cut down my extreme. I'm not crazy. I'm just talking about this weird situations that hopefully never happen. So
Yeah.
it's just, I don't like, I don't,
You,
oh, I can't
you
do it.
don't like someone who tries to throw their authority around when
Yeah.
you didn't ask for it.
Yep. I don't ask for your help, your authority, I don't need your, uh, protection or whatever. I will make my way and I can hang out with like-minded people
Mhm.
and we can, as long as we can work together and get things done and help each other, that's fine. I'm all for that. But once you start taking control and telling everybody what to do, that's when we're gonna have some differences.
I mean, I'm the same way too. I'll clap back if someone says something and it's like, what? You want us to do what?
Hello, no, you have no power here.
And if someone says "shut up, Mike," it's like, oh, you just open up a can of worms that you should have kept sealed.
Yep. Oh, what did you say to me? No, it's one of those episodes that really gnaws at you a little bit, especially if
Yeah.
you're that kind of person.
Hmm. It's like, okay, she wants me to conform to her way of life. But the only way she'll accept me is if I completely throw away my current life. If I do something wrong, go into the box, cooperative,
Yep.
and do what's best for the community. Yet, I still have a responsibility to the station, to the crew on that station, to my son, in Cisco's
Yes.
case,
Yep.
just like O'Brien still had responsibility back on DS9, and those priorities being his family,
Yep.
Molly and Keiko.
See, she should have known as a smart enough person. She should have known they have ties to that world. They
Hmm.
have very strong ties, and what it could be her arrogance because she got everybody else to do what she wanted and she manipulated the whole situation. She thought she could manipulate them to do her bidding too. And that could just be pure arrogance because, I mean, you see that in the fact that she put her books around for them to read.
Hmm.
This is my philosophy. Please read it and enjoy and come around and hopefully you like it. And she thought that they, agree with it a little bit or be tempted by it a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. It's just for she gave it to the wrong people.
Hmm.
She thought she could do the same thing to them as she did to the rest of them, but she just didn't know who she was messing with.
And I know we find out that Joseph was the last convert, but it'll be interesting to have found out from the other colonists how long it took them
Yeah. And
before Alexis broke.
how long did it take Joseph? If he's
Hmm.
the last convert, did it take a year, 2 years? Why did she let him go so long before? I mean, I know they were just getting started and they had to figure out everything, but and what took him over the edge? Was it the box? Was it other manipulations that she did on him to
Hmm.
get him to stop trying to make the technology work and get out of there? And
Well, what were her methods of torture for each of the colonists that didn't conform?
yeah, that's an interesting scenario you could think about, but it could have been just about anything.
Yeah, it could have.
She could have enticed him with some. Well, at that early age, I doubt she could entice somebody to go sleep with him to to get him to convert over. Maybe not. Probably not though, because it probably took some time to get him that compliant.
Because, I mean, let's face it, he was an engineer. And we're talking about the character Joseph in this episode. He might have still been trying to think of ways to get the ship to run again.
Yep. And how was it after his conversion that they ended up tearing it out, or and stripping it and throwing
Hmm.
it away because it was just taking up space? That's a good excuse, I guess.
Yeah, because if you notice in this episode, there are no windows, there are no doors.
Yes, I was thinking about that earlier. It's like she took away all their privacy,
Hmm.
and they complied with it. Another thing, well, I like my privacy. Is nobody in that commune like their privacy enough to push back? Because she doesn't like doors. They all had to get rid of them. What was the
Hmm.
excuse on that?
Maybe some of them did push back, but she broke them.
Possibility. What happened in this community that that you don't see, and you never know what went on there.
Hmm. That'd be a fascinating story for a novel to have sort of a prequel story to all this happening before the episode Paradise.
Yep. 10 years a communist.
But do you have anything else that you would like to add about this episode?
Um Always be aware of the people around you, and look for warning signs, red flags for somebody who's type A personality who will compliment you and um, get you to do things for them and talk about greater good and how much you're a big help. I've known type A personality people before, and they do manipulate and they do leech off you if you got something that they can use or need or
Yeah,
want, and it's super annoying.
yeah, because there are people who will manipulate you so they get what they want from you. They will use you,
Yep, and then they'll
and
throw
then
you away when they're
mhm,
done. You can't get nothing else out of you.
yeah.
So yeah, I've recognized it. I've learned to recognize it, and like we used to have a guy in our uh, town that we play, me and my best friend, we play guitar and I play bass and some other stuff, and he had a band, and he'd run off two or three of his other musicians, and then he needed a bass guy and needed a guitar guy, so we ended up joining his band for a little while, and and he as soon as he found somebody better, you know, he replaced me, and then he would try to get another guitar guy in, and not use my friend, and yeah, we saw right through it. We saw, and he used us because we did recording and all that. So we recorded some of his songs. We put our own music in there with it and made it good, and and he just wanted us for that.
Yeah.
And whenever somebody else came along he liked better, boom, you're
Hmm.
out. And then when they were gone, it's like, hey guys, let's get back together. Let's let's talk about maybe we go do some gigs doing this or something, And then me and my friend was like, I'm sorry, who are you?
Yeah. And I do want to say hello to Gary over on the Rumble site. Good to see you, Gary. Yeah, tonight we talked about the episode Paradise from season 2 of DS9. See it from a different point of view, but you know, I had one particular friend who it started becoming a habit of his. Didn't matter if it was with me or other people, where he'd go out to lunch with people and then go, "Oh, I don't have enough money."
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Uh huh. And it became such a habit. He said to me, "You want to go to lunch, Mike?" I said, "Yeah, but you're paying your own way because I'm not paying for you."
Well, you got money, buddy? Are you good to go to lunch? Can you afford it?
Oh, come on, Mike. That's what he said to me. I said, "No, I know what you do. You've done it to me. You've done it to other people, and you're paying your own way if we go to lunch. I'm not paying for you. I only have enough money for me and to leave the tip."
Yep. See, you get on, you get onto what they're doing. They know their tricks, and
Mm-hmm.
you can either be a doormat for them. Oh God, yes, you can pay their way and let them mooch off you, or you can stand up for yourself and say, nah, sorry, bro, ain't happening. My wife was doing that at work. Same thing. Some lady kept bumming enough money to get a soda. I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back next week. I'll be all right. I tell you when I get paid. And then she'd go bum money off somebody else the next day to get a soda. And then, lo and behold, she owes like 50 people and she never gets paid back. So then, you know, once bitten, twice shy, you get burned once. You ain't paid me back last time. You ain't getting any money from me. That's the way my wife is. You got your one chance.
Yeah, I mean, heck, there's one time I'd pay for some wrestling tickets for me and my friends to go to a wrestling event. I said, "I will pay for the tickets, but you guys have to pay me back for your tickets. That's how we're doing this.
Yep.
I am not paying for the tickets and giving you a gift. No, I expect to be paid back for your ticket." Well, one guy kept procrastinating. I said, "Listen, if you don't pay me, then this will be the last time I ever hang out with you." But nothing.
That's those people annoy me. I don't understand that. I don't get it. I have this innate uh, uh, sense of um, just dread when I owe somebody money,
Hmm.
and I don't pay them back. I can't I cannot stand owing people money, especially if my friends and I borrowed money. Not like it's not like, oh, I borrowed money to buy a car from the bank. That's different. But I'm constantly paying that back. But obviously, but if I'm bumming money off my friend to eat lunch one day because I forgot my wallet or I just didn't get any cash that week and I whatever. If I owe him $10, I'm either buying his lunch the next day or I'm dropping a $10 bill on his desk, before the week's out. So
Yeah, I've done that too with people. It's like, no, no, you covered for me the other day, so now I'm getting you lunch
yeah,
as a way of saying thank you. And I had a friend after my mom passed away who offered to let me borrow some money. I said, no, that's the last thing I want to come between our friendship is money.
yeah, I don't do that either. I don't bum money off people, and I don't like to say never. I don't like to say never because you never know, but you will probably never ever see me with a GoFundMe for anything, even if I am about to be out on the street. Never, you'll never see a GoFundMe.
I mean, I'll do it for other people if they want me to. It's like Baron last year when the long suffering was in the hospital. I asked him, "Do you want me to set up a GoFundMe for you?" And like all of us, we all have pride. And Baron wasn't sure at first, but then he eventually said, "Go ahead and set it up."
Yep. Well, I mean, if somebody else did it for me, they wouldn't have to do it without my knowledge. But if somebody, I don't think I'd turn it down if it happened and I didn't know about it after the fact. But
Mhm.
I'd just be like, I got other avenues to ask for help. I got family, a little bit of family left, and I got friends or a friend. I got a friend that would help me. But yeah, I just can't bring myself to. And I don't down on anybody. It's just me. It's inside me. So I don't
Mhm.
down on anybody that needs real help and asks for, you know, some money to get them by. But I would feel, even if I got that money from somebody who did that, I would want to pay. I would definitely want to pay everybody back if I want once I got back up.
I mean, I've even done it, and it's been a couple items at the grocery store where somebody was short. I said, just add it to my bill, and we'll be done with it. And the person, said, you don't have to do that. I said, just promise me you'll pay it forward one day.
Or that, yeah, I've done that. That's always a good option. Somebody, like one day I was in a restaurant and some kid was trying to get a plate to go, didn't have any money. He I don't know what he probably didn't ever have any money, but he goes, "Oh, I forgot my wallet at home." So and the guy was like, "Oh, I don't know what you come back tomorrow, and pay me when And I was looking at the kid. I was like, "Yeah, you're never seeing that money." So I just put it on my bill. I'll pay it. And I don't know the kid. I don't ever seen him before. Never seen him again. So I knew the guy behind the counter was never getting the money. So I went ahead and paid for it. And Well, I knew the guy behind the counter, so it was his
Yeah.
restaurant. So I just making sure he's getting.
Well, it's just like there was one time I was at work and this guy came in and he wanted to buy a prepaid phone. And I could tell he'd been going through a rough time. And he didn't have enough money for the phone that he wanted. It was just a cheap flip phone, but he didn't have the money. So I looked at my supervisor. I said, I'm going to buy him his phone. I'm going to set it up for him and send him on his way
There you go.
because I can tell he's had a rough time.
Yeah, and you always look for those people. That's the Angus. Well, technically, yes, that's the Christian way to do things. You see somebody in need, you help them if you can.
Mm-hmm.
In any way you can, or any way they need. I'm not an advocate of somebody walking around. Oh, can I have $5 to get me some gas? No, I don't give you money. I don't. I don't stop at panhandlers on the street and give them money because it usually doesn't get where you think it's going. So, um, but when there's somebody needing something in the moment, or oh, this family's house burnt down, they need clothes, they need food, we do that. We go back and find our clothes we can't wear anymore. We donate them. We
Mm-hmm.
buy some food and give it, and whatever else they might need. They're needing this or needing that or needing fine. Well, we got this to spare. We got extra of this, and we can go buy some extra stuff, and that's what we do. And everybody should do that. And if you have somebody in your town, or near you, your family, or friends that need help, then just help. As long as you can help, just help.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like being in an area that is in Hurricane Alley. When you hear that there's a town that got struck by any natural disaster,
Yep.
and your local area is collecting, clothes, food, whatever, for those victims. Yeah, you look at what you have and you say, okay, I can donate that, I can donate that, I can donate that. I'm not using it. Might as well go to someone who will use it.
Yep. You can do a little bit of good. Everybody does a little bit of good. The more good every individual does, the more it helps out. Uh, you know, your community. No.
Yes, our community will benefit from this
Yeah.
anonymous if you just take off your uniform.
Dang it, I like my uniform. Don't tell me to take off my uniform.
Look at my rank pips. I'm a captain.
You are not a captain. I'm a captain. I'm taking over. That's what it should happen. It's like, no, I'm taking over this little commune you got here. I'm the man. Miles could take out your little archer over there. Not a problem.
But this is a fantastic episode of Deep Space Nine, and I'm glad you were able to join us tonight, Anonymous. And if you have any final thoughts or anything you'd like to plug before we head out of here, please do it.
I'd like to plug the bald spot on my head. No, wait, that's not what you meant. No, I got nothing. I think we thoroughly discussed the episode. I think it's a very very excellent episode and very underrated. And hopefully some people will look at it a different way if they've seen it before and didn't really care for it like we did at first. You never know. Maybe they look at it a little better and give it a little bit more love.
Mm-hmm. Because this isn't the first time I've gone back and watched an episode and have a completely different perspective on it after watching it again. The
Yeah.
only episode that doesn't qualify for that is Move Along Home. I have watched that recently, and I still feel the same way about it.
Oh, stop it, Mike. Move Along Home was such a good episode. Oh my gosh. Alan Murray, that's such a good song.
Alan Moraine, count to 4. Alan Moraine, then 3 more. Alan Moraine, if you can see Alan Moraine, you come with me.
You've memorized it. That's how good it is. You just need to come and come to realize how good of an episode and the song it is. You memorize it by heart. I know you're such a hypocrite.
I hate the episode, but I know the episode.
Too well.
All too well, but Anonymous, thank you for taking time out of your Saturday night here on this Memorial Day weekend to join me and discuss this episode. And like I said earlier, there is something I want to ask you after the show, and it is about coming back onto The Adventure Continues.
I mean, I did a good job. You gonna ask me back?
Yes, I'm going to ask you back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you so emotional.
Nobody really likes me.
I was hoping you would tap into that Vulcan side of yourself and purge your emotions.
Very well, Mike. Yes, I know nobody likes me, but if you want me back, then yes, I will come back and I will review another show with you, and very dispassionately and very sterile. And
Well, the other thing I'm going to say for the audience is that it'll be more than just anonymous, is what I'm planning.
more than just am I going to transform?
Well, it will also involve last week's, well, I shouldn't say last episode's guest, DJ Run a Jeep.
So it's going to be about turtles.
It's still going to be Star Trek, but it's a particular episode of Star Trek.
Turtle Trek?
More on the lines of Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, all right. I like the TNGs. I'm a fan of the TNGs.
Right.
That's one. I watched that originally as it aired because it was on at 10:30 at night on Saturday, every Saturday, and unless there was a football game or baseball game or something that was interrupting it, it was ticking me off. and or my brother wouldn't turn it over there because he was watching freaking Rush Limbaugh. And I was like, but other than that, I was watching it live as it played. So
But whenever your brother was watching Rush Limbaugh or one of those programs were on, you probably stood up from your chair and did the Picard maneuver with bloody hell. I need my Star Trek.
oh, I was cussing at the screen, because this is how it went. Ball game went in
Okay,
overtime.
so you were more Riker. You were more
Yeah,
Riker.
I was right. Ball game goes overtime, but instead of going straight to Star Trek when it was over, it went to the news, the local news first. So the local news ran over Star Trek, so I missed like 45 minutes of an episode.
You basically
That
missed the whole episode.
I may have missed the whole episode. You better believe I was not a happy camper.
I get you because you know when I grew up in San Diego, the channel that I watched Deep Space Nine and Next Generation on XETV, and we also had cable at the time, so I could also catch it a few days earlier on one of the LA stations. But the main one I would watch was XETV in San Diego. And whenever there was a hockey game or football game or baseball game and it went over, it's like, okay, there's a new episode of Next Generation I want to catch. Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, all right. It's like, oh, come on.
I,
What do y'all lose? Lose.
and then, right after Next Generation, it was usually Deep Space Nine. So it's like, okay, I've just missed Next Generation. Don't make me miss Deep Space Nine. Fumble that ball.
Yeah. I hated sports. I hated watching sports. I like playing sports, but I hated watching sports, and especially when on Saturday night if they had a game. Just I knew it was gonna just interrupt everything.
Well, it's like Nerdporial. He said to me multiple times. Usually, his viewing of Deep Space Nine was interrupted in the Chicago area because a Cubs game was on, and I told him I was a Cubs fan. He's all, yeah. So I missed a lot of Deep Space Nine because of your team.
It's all your fault.
I can't help it that they had the show on the same station that showed Major League Baseball.
That's a whole other discussion. Just the way they treated these shows.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I never understood why they weren't primetime shows. Never understood.
they should have been. They deserve to be.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, at least the LA station that I watched, KCOP, thanks for the cable that we had at the time. They aired the Deep Space Nine episodes on Thursdays at 9. And Next Generation episodes were Mondays at 9. So whenever anybody was watching Friends on Thursdays, Seinfeld on Thursdays on NBC, I was watching Deep Space Nine and I was happy.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to catch it on my local San Diego station that Saturday when all the games were going on. Because I would watch it first on that Thursday, and then if I liked it enough, I would watch it again that Saturday and record it.
Getting reruns.
Mm-hmm. That's how we did it back in the day, before Netflix and all the streaming.
Yep. Didn't always pan out, but we did what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Always appointment television. Now you
Yep.
don't have that anymore.
But I do want to take the time to thank everybody who's been by today. I want to start by thanking Admiral Lady Mist. Good to see you, Admiral. And then we had Chief Science Officer, Commander DJ Ronnie G. And was there anyone else on the YouTube side? Oh, yes.
Matt?
Commodore FKHC 2005.
There are some who call me Tim.
And was there anyone else on the YouTube side? I realized with it being Memorial Day weekend, some people are going to be, out and about.
They should be here watching us. We are so entertaining. They're missing out.
missing out on a good time talking about good Star Trek. But before we leave, I do want to thank Lowspec over on the Rumble side and also Gary over on the Rumble side for being here. And thank you to all who were watching, listening, lurking, and being here. I appreciate everybody who supports the channel. And please, I have already put Anonymous's link into the chat. Subscribe to Anonymous's channel. He's got good content on there, and when he has time, I know he'll load up more good content.
One day. One day.
One day. But I do want to let you all know that Pop Talk will be live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Unfortunately, due to prior commitments, Baron and Cash will not be there. But tomorrow is open to Stealth as optional members who would like to come on the panel as we watch the original Star Wars. Granted, not the original theatrical cut, but it's the original Star Wars. But I will make exceptions for anyone who would like to be on the panel for tomorrow and watch the movie. Because I want everybody to be included in tomorrow's celebration of Orthodox Star Wars Day at 1 p.m. Eastern, coming to you live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. And of course, I'll be playing more Doom this week on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Traditional episode of Pop Talk, and what I mean by traditional episode of Pop Talk for Wednesday is we'll be talking about articles. I have to sort through some articles and think this will be one to talk about. We can forget about this. That will be good. Maybe on this one. So that's what I mean by traditional when we talk about articles. And then Thursday, I'll be playing more Rise of the Ronin at 6 p.m. Eastern. So again, everybody, thank you very much for being here for episode number 3 of The Adventure Continues, the Star Trek discussion. I'm still waiting to hear from a guest who I've asked to appear on episode 4, which will be on June 7th, to find out what episode they have chosen. I do have a backup in case I don't hear from them, and I'm going to go ahead and let you all know what the backup episode will be. The backup episode for episode 4, if I don't hear from the guest I have asked to appear on that episode, will be a piece of the action. That's right.
Okay.
A piece of
Piece of
the action. You know, that the heaters. Hey, Quick. Hey, is this Quick? I love that episode.
Quick.
It's a good Prime Directive episode. Why you don't leave things behind on the planet.
That's right.
But hopefully I do hear from the guests and we get to discuss their episode of choice. But until then, everybody, make sure you hit that like button, share out the stream, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe or follow the channel over on YouTube and Rumble. And as always, live long and prosper.
Goodbye, everybody.